It's a beautiful morning, and we are in vow number 8 in Live Like It Matters and Love Like Crazy. I'm Beth Ann Stockton, the author of the book, and we are going to dive into vow number 8. And vow number 8 is I vow to love above evil and judgment. What does it mean to love above evil and judgment? Evil is wickedness, morally wrong, dark, shady, demonic, corrupt, and so on. It does not get you very far in life. It's lonely. You fear the truth and you lack forgiveness in yourself and in others. And you don't see what true love really is. So with evil and judgment, there's judgment, right? We can judge others. We will someday be judged. But what is judgment? Judgment is the ability to make considered decisions or come to a sensible conclusion. In last week's video, I quoted from the Bible, Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 through 9. And I'm going to reread that because it has a lot to do with the decisions that we make in our life and how they can affect us or how they can affect other people. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 through 9. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. The one who sows to please his sinful nature from the nature will reap destruction. The one who sows to please the Spirit from the Spirit will reap eternal life. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So judgment is an opinion formed by judging something, right? We judge for the way people look, for the way that they raise their children, or for what kind of education they have, or if they didn't get an education. There's so much opinions, and that's basically what it's drawing a conclusion or opinion about someone, and it doesn't get us anywhere. As I was going through this study, I was trying to study what I wanted to talk about this week, and I came across an Albert Einstein quote, which I thought was really cool. So I'm going to read it to you. Albert Einstein said, "Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid." And I just thought it was a great quote, because we judge people on the ability of something that they maybe can't do, and we judge them for that. And there's things that I can't do that other people can, and that doesn't mean that we judge people for that. All right, so I wrote a few things down to keep in mind, right? Okay, be mindful of others and what they're going through. You don't know their situation. Don't take it personal. Something that happens to you, they might not even know that it affected you, but you can't, maybe instead of letting it affect you and take it personal, maybe try to find out why they're acting that way or why they're doing what they're doing. Find out, ask questions, and then educate yourself. There's so many different cultures, so much diverse in our society and in our world, that if you don't educate yourself on culture and people's behaviors, someone might have a disability and you don't even know it, but you're judging them based on the fact that they're doing something, but they might have a disability. So you make sure you're mindful and pay attention, and don't take it personal. When I was a little girl, my mother would have us dress the same, and she would push us around in the stroller. Well, there would be women that would come up to my mom and say, "Oh, how cute, they're twins," and things like that. But then they would say, "Well, what's wrong with that one?" And they would point to my sister, because my sister clearly looked different. She looked smaller, and she had some deformity with her head and the way that it was shaped. And so people would say comments like, "Well, what's wrong with her?" And my mom got so tired of that, so tired of people saying that. And they're babies. We were babies. There should be no judgment. And finally, my mom got to the point where she said, "Well, I'm feeding one. I'm doing an experiment. I'm feeding one and not the other." And the reactions that she got from women were just insane and stupid and funny. And it's like, really? Like, come on. I'm not feeding one. And so, but it bothered her, just that small judgment, and not taking the time to pay attention to what you're asking somebody or how you might be treating somebody, or even the comments that you say. In chapter 6, verse 41 in Luke, it says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own?" I was in Culver's restaurant a couple months ago, waiting for my tires to be fixed. So I went across the street to wait. And there was a little boy that was being disruptive and loud behind me. And I didn't pay any attention to it because it's none of my business. And there was a woman in front of me, an older woman, and she just kept staring and she kept staring. And finally she got up and went over to this mom and was very rude and said, "You've got to control your child and he needs better behavior," and so on and so forth of the things that she said. And then the older woman walked away, not giving a chance for the mom to say anything, to defend herself, or even to say anything. And a few minutes later, I turned around and I just said, "Have a beautiful day. And are you okay?" Because the mom was clearly crying. And the mom opened up to me and told me that her son has a disability and that they're working on it. And so I felt so horrible for her, but it brought me back to that story about my mom and my sister. Like, people just quickly judge and they don't even know what's going on in a person's life. And if you do have questions or concerns, you could try being kind and asking questions, or maybe ask them if they need anything. Like, be kind about it. And so I just felt really bad for that mom, but she was strong and she's going to continue to be strong, just like my mom was strong when people would question about my sister and her disability. So here are some reasons why we should love above evil and judgment. Trying to rise above it takes effort on your part every single day. What our children are seeing, what we are seeing, violence, people not taking responsibility for their own actions, their own behavior, and the decisions that they make. Do we model integrity? Do we have any convictions, and do we show that? Do we stand for what we believe in? And do we help people understand why we believe in what we believe in, or do we just fight for our convictions instead of communicating and loving through our convictions and showing people why we believe what we believe and stand for what we stand for? Forgiveness, obviously, that is a huge one. If you have no forgiveness in your heart for others, or even for yourself, that is definitely going to be a hard thing to overcome, and you're going to have a lot of judgment in your life, and you're going to have maybe some evil in you or some negative downward feelings about yourself because you don't have forgiveness. And love and kindness. Are we modeling this? Are we modeling it to our children? I've said in past videos that when kids are little and they're, kindergarten or preschool age, we teach them to share. We teach them to be kind. And, it says in the Bible to love thy neighbor. And yet we grow up as adults and we cut people off on the street. We don't talk to our neighbors, and we don't have any just sense of the simple kindness in this world. And you're never going to get away from evil and judgment. But if you can concentrate a little bit more on your front yard and who you are as a person, and maybe your children and your situations, and grow in that, maybe we can change the world one person at a time. But it starts with you, and it starts with me, and it starts with what's inside of us. So the takeaway today is Romans 12:9. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil and cling to what is good. Life is hard enough as it is. We don't need to add evil and judgment on top of it. We need to live in a world where we can try to have peace somehow. We're not all going to get along. We're not going to all believe the same things, and we're not going to all do things the same way. But we have to try. So we must vow to love above evil and judgment. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 and 23, that is the fruit of the Spirit. Joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And maybe you should try those, right? See where those get you when you try the fruit of the Spirit, when you try to put those and apply those to your life every day. See where it gets you, because it doesn't seem like evil and judgment really gets us anywhere. So live like it matters and love like crazy. Unless you are fearless, nothing will change. And everybody has their own challenges, right? What you fear isn't what I fear. And the trauma and the trials that you've been through in your life aren't the trials or the things that I fear going on in my life. But if we can vow to love above evil and judgment, if we can be sincere and kind and patient, we might get a little bit further in life. So make it a great day.